Centurions Corner and pretty much everything Black series. So today we are creating a Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise. So I've picked up some bootleg Stormtroopers. Check the review out on the channel somewhere. These are actually really great. They're pretty cool. There's a few minor details and stuff there that's not too great, but they're really good for sort of backfill army fillers and stuff like that. They're really good. The only thing is sometimes the little butterfly joint here kind of pops out, but apart from that they're actually pretty cool. So using this figure we can actually take this out. There is a Tamara Morrison head in here, so we're going to take that out. So it's going to have a removable head. So for the Luke figure I'm going to use a Yavin Luke once again. I picked this up from Star Action Figures, I believe. They were selling it for 13 and I kicked myself because In Demand Toys were selling them for £8 as well. So this one's pretty cheap. It's quite an easy Luke Skywalker to pick up. And also I changed my Farm Luke into this head as well. So the Yavin, Farm Luke and the Stormtrooper, they're all going to have the same head, which for me and the OCD, that's absolutely fine. So that's them there. Because I think if they do actually eventually bring this out in Black Series kind of archive, do I particularly want a Luke Skywalker disguise, but it's in the old mould? Like, would I really want that? I don't think I will. Now they brought out this new mould, I would rather this rather than sort of like the old figure reissued. Anyway, the only other Luke Skywalker that I have in the disguise was the one that was sort of like in the trash compactor. It's a bit of a strange head. I could reuse this head and stuff like that for this figure, but I kind of wanted him to be Luke kind of rushing in to rescue Princess Leia, not this sort of like water washed kind of Luke here. But looking at this, so what they actually done at Hasbro, they actually lowered the torso down to create the Stormtrooper look a bit smaller than the Han Solo one. So I'm going to have to do that myself, aren't I? I'm going to have to try and lower the torso on the bootleg. And also on the back, he has the sort of like extra bits on here. So I'm going to have to sort of like try and create this as well and add it to this Stormtrooper. This one does have a holster, and I have got a holster left over, and I think I cut this off for the Iron Man kind of clone trooper that I had. It was just a spare Stormtrooper belt that I had. So yeah, I'll probably just glue that on there as well. So we're going to try and make it as close to the original Stormtrooper as possible, but also with the new mould. So I guess without further ado, let's see how it turns out. So we're just going to start off with me cutting the torso in half. I did go to Instagram to film myself taking the helmet off the actual helmet and also taking the Yavin Luke head off. However, I forgot to save the live footage, so it is for internally lost. However, on here I'm just lowering the torso down by reducing the ab area, so I'm just using the Dremel just to wipe away the bits that I've put the line to, just to get rid of it, to hopefully shorten Luke Skywalker. So if you feel like you are actually stumbling on this channel more often than not and enjoying the content, then please hit that subscribe button, like and comment. It's really much appreciated and it really helps out the channel. Thank you. So just using the Dremel here, I'm just actually putting more depth into the head, so the ball joint actually goes further up into the Luke Skywalker head, so it fits nicely on that neck part. So using a waist ball joint that I found, which was actually from a Stormtrooper bootleg from way before in my sort of fat fodder box, I put it together using a hot glue, keeping it in place in the ab area and actually super gluing it to the top part. So actually I still got the articulation there. It's not turned out the best way I wanted it to, however it held the figure together, which I was grateful for. So here I'm making Luke Skywalker's kind of grapple hook. So I just cut one of those $100 bills Lego kind of tiles off into half, and also cut off a bit of the lightsaber as well, drilling the hole into the top of that lightsaber that I cut off. and cutting off a little nub part off another little bit of plastic. I'm just simply super gluing it all together. Just use little bits that you got around the house. You don't have to be the best sculptor. You could actually just add these bits together to actually create the look, and that's what I did with these Lego parts because I've got loads of it. So for my fodder box as well, I have a couple of Stormtrooper holsters as well for some bootlegs. So I'm simply just super gluing that to Luke Skywalker's left hand side. So Luke has a communicator, and what I'm doing, I'm simply just cutting off the tip of the Yavin blaster, and actually it already looks like the com part, so you just got to trim off the two little bits at the top and then paint the tips white. This part here is actually the straps don't go underneath the belt, they actually go over the top. So we're just adding those extra black lines to look like the holster actually fits over the top of the belt. Upon looking at inspections of Luke Skywalker's belt, it actually doesn't have a thermal detonator, so I'm just simply cutting it off with the precision knife. So with Han, we're just simply doing the process again. So I'm just dribbling right down. The actual ball joint is a lot longer than the Bespin Han. So we're just getting right in there so the head fits nicely. Using the hot glue and Vaseline process, we're just plonking it on there. Again, I've got another bootleg holster that we're just going to super glue to the side. And then this guy is pretty much complete. So with the Mandalorian E11, don't forget to cut off that scope to make it more of a classic look. So the other part that's the difference between the Mandalorian and the classic Stormtrooper is the buttons. The Mandalorian one seems to have a lot of black buttons and stripe. This one, they should have about 6 grey buttons and 3 blue. So here they are, all finished and completed and ready to join all the other figures on the shelf. Actually, how they turned out is a lot better than I expected. I would have changed a few things, maybe if the helmets could be a little bit bigger or their heads could be a bit smaller, but we're kit bashing here, so this is the best that I could get. I did try arranging his torso to be a bit lower like the original figure, and I bailed out. I managed to get it a little bit shorter, but it's not great or in comparison than I hopefully would have thought that I would have got it, to be honest. The only reason being is I kind of wanted it to still have articulation now. I didn't want him to be a whole solid unit. So I think if I needed it to be lower, it would have been, I had to glue it to the actual bottom torso. So we've still got that ball joint in there and he can still move about. So we'll go over Luke first. We'll take Han Solo away and we'll just go through Luke and what the changes we have made to him. So first of all, obviously it's based on a bootleg figure and we customised him with the Yavin Luke. So the head there, it's just kind of nice. We have to kind of duck down the helmet slightly just to overfill the chin, etc. on there. But it's still a nice fit, it's still not too bad. We can actually just pop the helmet off itself, and I've just cut out this extra little part here just below that sort of nozzle there, and that's actually for his nose, so it can actually fit in well. So we just pop that off, and then we've got Luke just there sitting nicely. So with the gun, we've taken off the scope and we've added in the silver, and then at the add buttons here, for some reason the new Stormtroopers are all sort of like black buttons and lines, so they actually do have blue buttons here and here and here, and then the rest are quite a lightish grey. On the belt itself, we've added on this sort of like comlink here, which is actually the tip of the Yavin Guns Luke, which is pretty cool. I thought it was quite a good thing. I just saw it on the side and I thought, alright, that'd be ideal for it. So I've glued it on there because the other one always keeps falling off. I've got a bootleg holster here on the side, and then added the paint to make it look like straps over the top. The little Lego sort of $100 sign thing, cut it in half with that extra little bits there, and all added onto the belt. It doesn't actually have a thermal detonator either, so we've cut that off as well. And then that is it for his changes. But yeah, I'm quite happy how he's turned out, and he's looking pretty cool. So for now, we'll just slide him to one side, and then we'll go over Han Solo. So Han is not much difference to an actual figure itself, because he doesn't have all the extra accessories that Luke Skywalker has. So we just added the extra gun here because he carries it before giving it to Chewbacca. And again, same for the head. We've cut out the bit at the bottom here, and we can just pull that off over his head. So what I've done as well on the inside, I actually Dremeled out as most as I can with the bubble sort of Dremel part around here. Sanded it right down to actually make the helmet inside larger than it initially was. With the figure itself, it's just simply a head swap. We had to Dremel out the head a little bit more than usual, and then fill it with hot glue to slap it onto the neck joint there. We didn't have to change any of the features and stuff there in the ab section, and all we've done is add those buttons back onto this guy, and on the back we've added another bootleg holster here with the new blaster with the silver inside, same thing again, and it actually fits inside there. And that is it. That is all we've done to this guy, and he's added up there, and now he's ready to join the shelf with Luke and the others. So as you can tell, I think, to be honest, it's a vast improvement on what I had before. So I had Luke here, and it's just using the old style body, and then this one I only had Han in a bootleg version. So as you can see, well, we put him just there in front, and you can see that he looks 10 times better. So thank you for joining me on this one. I hope you really appreciated these guys. I hope it might inspire you to make your own. Buying bootleg and why you can get these nice and cheap as well. It's a great idea for kit bashing as well. So thank you so much. You can comment down below, you can subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.